get you ready for the show.
Hello, and welcome to LOUDdispatch
Hey,
with your hosts
Mark
and Cheech.
and Cheech. And today we have our special guest, Aussie Rick. Aussie Rick, how do you do today?
I'm very well, gentlemen. How are you?
For those that can't understand him, he's very well, gentlemen. How are you?
Yeah, we got somebody running subtitles as we speak, but
I will translate.
good luck. Translate the best you can. But you know what, though? I love it. I'm going to start this off, and I know you've probably gotten this before, but so you have a very thick accent, right?
You could describe it that way. I know I certainly would.
You could describe it that way. I know I certainly would.
Okay.
No, you're good. You're good.
But has anybody in the States asked you to do like an American accent?
I'm glad you asked that question.
That's good. Yeah.
When I came over here, I was convinced that I was very good at American accents.
Uh-huh.
I since learned I'm not very good at all.
Nope.
I'm terrible at it, but yeah, we get a lot of American TV and all your movies and shit. So we'll grow up watching it and assume we can do it, but no.
I think every American has seen Crocodile Dundee, your one movie.
Absolutely. Oh, ouch. Hey, wait a second. No, there has been several. No, I'm just kidding.
There's been at least 2 or 3 movies out of that country.
It's crazy though that America has that big of an influence on Australia, but we haven't gotten as much Australian culture back, and we don't as an American, I don't know if that's because we're just so naive to it, it's there and we're just not taking advantage of it, or we don't. And I'm not saying that just about your country, but it's about a lot of other countries. It seems like America's just no, it's us or nothing. Fuck that
Our
shit.
stuff.
Yeah, except for anime. Anime has made it over here, and
Well, that's because Americans can't make a good, decent anime.
I'm just saying, but you get where I'm coming from. It's there are certain things that make it over here from different countries that you're just oh wow, and it takes America by storm. But it seems like America takes other countries by storm. And we were actually just discussing this on the porch with fast food, which you know what I mean?
Yes.
There's a lot of fast food chains that we were amazed that were down there, and then other ones that were down there, but
They don't have Taco Bell.
well, let's go back.
Fuck?
I know.
What's your favorite American restaurant since you've been here?
Taco Bell.
See?
By a long, long way. I fucking love it. It's terrible, horrible shit. But
Nope,
I
it's
love
good.
it.
It's actually considered, I think it's at the top of the healthiest fast food restaurants now.
I think that's the craziest
Well,
thing
that
I've
makes
ever
me
heard.
happy because
It is.
I abuse that place pretty much.
Yeah, we all do. It's an American thing.
It happens, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. You can spend $30 and literally come out with 2 bags full of just whatever you want.
Burritos
They'll
and
just
tacos.
and the worst is when you could actually go into the restaurant and be all right, I literally have never gotten an order right there. I don't know if you gentlemen have experienced this, but I was just telling my wife the other day, how pissed off I am that I have given fast food restaurants money because they haven't gotten my order right, but their store is closed because of COVID. So you can't go back in and be hey, I didn't get this, this, and this, and you gave me this instead. But you can't do that because you can't go into the restaurant. So it's either wait back in line.
Yep.
Which is
the drive-thrus are so long now.
you're just fuck it, whatever. I don't care.
I blame Australia. No, anyways, we're going on a rant, so we want to get back to Aussie Rick. So I've learned you have to say Aussie. It's not Aussie.
Yeah. You'll be laughed at pretty hard if you say Aussie.
Oh,
Aussie. It's Aussie.
Aussie.
And with a
Ah.
Z. Yes. For those that don't know, the Z is usually called Z in a lot of other countries. Is that in Australia?
Yes,
It's a Z?
yes. Well, both of them.
WXYZ.
So
When we do our ABCs, the song, we say Z at the end. But if we're just referring to the letter, it's usually just Z.
Okay.
Interesting.
I
wonder.
No, Zoltan.
Yeah.
Zoltan.
Yeah.
I want to rep the Steelers real quick too. Good win today, fellas.
That was pretty.
Yeah, I think it was
pretty
38-7 or something.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it was.
Wee!
Yes, I believe
Fuck you, Browns.
Beth Ruthless Burglar got a touchdown.
Beth Ruthless Burger Durger.
Burglar, what's his name? Burglar?
Roethlisberger.
Something like
Yeah, Big Ben. He got threw some touchdowns. We had some good runs.
Yeah.
Clayton no, what's his name? Claypool. Something Claypool. Man, that dude is a stud monster right now. I hope he keeps it up.
I mean, we're not going to talk sports here.
No, we don't do that normally.
But in all honesty,
you got to rip the Steelers.
They killed it today.
Yeah.
We'll put it that way.
And it was a rivalry game. So
Aussie Rick, what is there any sports that you still watch like from like Australia here in the States, or
we were just talking about this?
Yeah.
Well, we have our own version of football, Australian rules football, which is sport I follow.
Is that different than rugby?
Yeah.
It's it's a separate sport. Okay.
Well, American football is closer to rugby than our football.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Your football, soccer.
No, that's
okay.
No, just no.
Okay. Okay. Soccer's not a big thing in Australia.
It is a big thing. We've got huge expat communities love their soccer.
Okay.
But to your average Australian, we consider it to be a bit of a pansy sport. So,
soccer.
Yeah, we're pretty ruthless with soccer fans and
so are we.
soccer in general.
So are we.
Yeah, we consider it a bit of a pansy sport. Yes, but our Aussie rules, the AFL, I can just say to your listeners, go to YouTube and just look up AFL Explained and you'll see how just insanely awesome the sport is.
Well, so I went to high school with a kid who played for the American AFL team, right?
Really?
Yeah. And it was great and funny because dude was like never played sports in high school and stuff. Real nice guy, but he was big, athletic build, And then all of a sudden he's a fucking pro AFL player. Like, it was just one of those like, what the fuck happened here? But hey, I'll tell you what, he played a great career. I believe he's out now, but he is old like me. So way to go, man.
Play in the local American league?
No, he played all over the world. I mean, he played for Team USA Australian football.
Okay, yeah. We have an international cup every year.
Yeah,
and 30 or 40 teams send their best version of footballers over.
He would have his like Instagrams full of like the different countries he'd go to play in.
Yeah,
he played it. I think it was like pro league for I don't know. It must have been almost 2 decades. But yeah, cool. So, anyways, Australia, land of poisonous shit.
It's actually pronounced Australia, but we'll get there.
Australia?
Australia.
So you guys just cut the A and the U right off.
Yeah, we cut letters off everything because we can't be fucked because it's too hot. it's too hot, boys. We don't have time for that. So Australia just becomes Australia.
Oh, you know what I meant to do is get you a Foster's beer. Yeah, I know you hate it, but
yeah, well, Foster's is roundly loathed in Australia, which will shock a lot of international the local Americans.
I would have thought everybody drank Foster's over there.
Yeah, every bar I go into, you must love Foster's, right? I'm like, no, we don't drink Foster's. You can hardly find Foster's. If there's a beer shop that has Foster's, it's a rarity.
So that's an American thing.
It's a bodega, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think they even brew it in England these days. It's
really?
Not even made in Australia.
I don't think it ever was it?
Here's a fun fact for you. The Fosters was started by the two Foster's brothers, and they are both Americans. So Foster's is actually an American recipe. Yeah, they came over in I think the 1890s, lobbed up in Melbourne, and they started brewing Foster's, and it was an American beer. So. Yeah, there's a fun fact for you. And I think you'll agree that was pretty fun.
Yeah, that was actually
Let me ask you
quite
this.
fun.
Is Subaru actually an Australian car?
You're
like, I just had this major epiphany. Or isn't Subaru like Korean or something?
I believe it's Korean.
Is it Korean?
Dude. Yeah, man. Yeah.
I think it's probably pronounced
Subaru.
Wow.
I'm making assumptions there, but I think you just
No, I
well, that sucks now.
Well, so let me ask you this. Like, I mean, we're gonna get to Vegemite in a minute, but like, but I just want to know, like, I'm curious, like, is there any Australian culture here in America that you see that's like definitely prevalent and like, or like the same, like, you know what I mean? Like, what are your like starts, like what were like the biggest like, what the fuck is this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, versus like what was like,
well, with the American side, like as a foreigner coming over here,
sure.
We Australians love American fast food. There's no doubt about it. But as we were saying earlier, there's only McDonald's, which is known as Macca's, Burger King, which is called Hungry Jack's. We've got KFC, Pizza Hut, Subway, and Domino's. and that's it. There's nothing else. So when I got here, there was some shithole called Arby's, which apparently it's a shithole. I mean, I've never.
Arby's is great.
Oh, all right. I've
Beef
been
and
misled.
cheddar. Oh,
I've
give
been
me
misled.
some beef and cheddar.
I'll be honest with you. Look, I love Arby's, but
Yeah.
Arby's does not love me.
Yeah.
No,
It's
Arby's is
exactly
the,
like
the roast beef actually comes in like liquid form,
it's,
and they freeze it.
it's but when you're driving past one though, you're still like
Beef and cheddar tastes so good.
it's like Ponderosa back in the day.
I'm quite a fan of Wendy's myself.
Wendy's is good shit.
Yeah.
But Taco Bell's not in Australia, and it fucking well should be, because
You should start one.
it is amazing. I love it.
I'd bring the franchise there.
Yeah,
That's so crazy.
I never spend. It's just me and my wife eating it, and we never spend anything less than $30.
Yeah, you can't.
I think I get 5 or 6 items, and always feel like dog shit after I've eaten them. But
Because you eat them all, even though your stomach doesn't actually have the mass intake to hold it all, but you eat it all for some reason.
You've already got the meat sweats halfway.
Yeah,
it just tastes so good.
Decisions in life, but you just keep going because you don't.
It tastes so good.
It is. It's amazing. I just love it. And
It's like they put crack in it.
Knowing Australians as I do, I know it would be hugely popular.
Of course.
So I don't know why they haven't just gone there and just made $1 trillion.
They're waiting for us.
It's a very valid point, especially when you have all the other chains there. Like, why not?
You already have KFC and Pizza Hut. Those are the other two Yum brand or whatever chains.
Yeah, and you got like the other chain. Like, that's crazy.
Yep.
But like,
it is. It's nuts.
All right, we're gonna edit this whole thing out because we are taking Taco Bell to Australia as a
We're
crew.
copywriting it right now.
LOUDdispatch will be
it's already in the works.
franchisees.
Because we don't generally have a lot of Mexican food. Mainly it's Asian, European with a bit of Middle Eastern. But
makes sense.
if you find a Mexican restaurant there, you know it's probably not going to be good, but you're going to drink margaritas and not give a fuck anyway. But
It's hard to fuck up.
Very happy to have Mexican in my life.
It's hard to fuck up Spanish rice and refried beans though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Refried beans, I could just eat out of the
I
can.
know, dude. Wait, I like my wife has bought some for me, right? And I open the can up and I dump it out, and it's just a fucking can shape. Like I'm just like,
jelly on the bottom.
I'll tell you what though, I ate the whole thing.
It's like
I definitely heat it up and stir it up, it gets better. But yeah, I was just kind of like,
Another cultural thing, your beer is a lot cheaper than ours. And
because we drink a lot more of it.
You don't. You don't drink more than us, I can promise you that.
I do believe you, yes.
But ours is heavily taxed because our government knows we're going to pay regardless of what they charge us. So, you know, a 24 pack of what we call a slab, you'd call a case, will cost you, you know, $45, maybe $50 in Australia. So
holy shit.
it's expensive.
Wow, really?
Yeah. But that's
it's shitty too, right?
no, it's good. We're pretty happy with our
Okay.
So I came over here with preconceived ideas, having tasted a Buzz and a Miller before. Back home, I was like, American beer is going to be shit, but I've been pleasantly surprised. We've got some really nice lagers.
We have a lot more beer than that, like commercially, you know. I mean, even Yingling, one of the oldest brewery, Ring is really good. No, wait, that's racist. We can't do that.
Oh, yes, of course.
Oh, my.
We can make the Subaru thing because, yes, that makes sense. But, yeah, no.
I do have a funny story about Ring, or Yingling as it's allegedly called. When I got here, my lady picked me up. She said, "Do you want anything ready for you when you get here?" I said, "Yeah, could you have a carton of beer in the fridge for me? A case of beer?" No worries. So I get there, I'm reading the label going, Yingling. And I'm immediately thinking, you cheap ass, you've gone and bought some Chinese shit. What the fuck is this? And she's like, have a closer look at the label. I was like, oh, I'll just beer in there.
Yeah.
Yingling is dominated by Yingling Golden Pilsner, which is just way better than the one.
I don't know if I've had that yet, but I've had enough of the lager to just suit me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I think I've overkilled.
But they are sending it over. It's going past the Mississippi now. It's going to go all the way to the West Coast. So good for them. Anyways, so we're talking also one of the big culture shocks, which I think is funny, is the guns in America.
Yes, the guns.
Yeah.
Australians have preconceived, once again, a lot of preconceived ideas.
A lot of stereotypes about America.
Oh, a lot of stereotypes.
You racist motherfuckers.
Oh, yes. I could say your image is not tip top, but
in all honesty, I wouldn't even mind like hearing like a few.
Yeah.
I'm like
clueless.
You only see what like your phone wants you to see, like, and it's so crazy because like that's your lifeline, or like your computer like wants you to see. So like we don't get enough like worldly experiences unless we actually physically search them out. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it, like I would have no idea like what's going on in like Hong Kong or Beirut or whatever unless it like made national news. And like in that case, like I still might not even hear about it until like days later. And it's like unless I actively search something out, like I hear something and I, you know, but like it's so crazy to me how closed off we are from other societies as well. Like, you know, like
I was spaced for that whole thing, but I figured it out from what you just said there. Yeah,
you feel,
so it was
feel
weird.
It's rather American centric in the United States, but your country's so large and varied. You've got a million different accents, well, millions exaggerating, but you've got many different accents, cultures, lifestyles in America that it's almost like a mini world as it is. So,
It is.
Yeah. So,
I mean, every state is kind of like its own little nation in our, you know.
Yeah, very much.
Well, and like the United States is just that. It's the melting pot of like the world, essentially, right? Like that's what it was supposed to be. And
well,
like,
well, look at the structure of us compared to most other countries too. We actually allow the states to govern a lot of their own rules. Firearms are governed by the state. Like we don't get political on this.
I'm not getting political. But I just want to say, like,
political, but
look, Christopher Columbus Day was the other day, and I just want to say for the record, like, what the hell? Why are we still
I had off for that.
I know you did. And like, that's what I'm saying. Like, why are we still celebrating this? Like, that's like a terrible. Like, I as an American now, like, realize like this is a terrible like holiday to celebrate. Like, this dude came over here and killed like a ton of Indians and was just like, hey, this land has never been claimed. We're taking it for everybody. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, no, there were. That's why they're called Native Americans, because they were here, native to the land. Like, there were people here already. Like,
we have the exact same thing in Australia. We have Australia Day, which is January 26th.
Do you? Okay.
Which is the day that Captain Cook landed in Botany Bay in the eastern coast. That's when the English started their. That's the day they claimed Australia.
Okay. Continue with this, please.
Yeah, I never knew
very
that.
interested
Never
in
knew
this.
that.
Yeah, like
they claimed something called Terra Nullius, which means
okay.
that was. Yeah, they were being honest about that. It actually was occupied by the oldest race on Earth. And so, yeah, they've been celebrating January 26th. But the last 10 years, there's been a bit of an awakening in the Australian attitude of, should we really be celebrating this shit? The Aboriginals call it Invasion Day. And
right.
Yeah, so it's kind of losing its luster, its appeal. No one really wants to celebrate anymore because it's
it's remember a day that you stole.
That we just stole everything and treated them like shit.
Well, so wasn't Australia like the English populated in Australia? Wasn't it mostly the criminals that they were sent there?
Yes. Yes. Long story short, yes. They England, which was overpopulated at the time, and they were locking people up for stealing a loaf of bread. Pretty much. So they actually had barge ships in the Thames River in London, which were like prison ships, and they'd send people onto the ships because their jails were full.
Yeah.
So they thought, what are we going to do with all these scumbags?
Send them on Australia.
Let's send them on the other side of the world and make them do farming and shit for us. So that's how it started.
Yep.
Yeah, but a lot of the commentary is, well, the Australians are all criminals, but we've sort of put our own slant on that. Well, this man's family was starving and he was willing to risk being sent to the other side of the world to steal a loaf of bread. So
criminal is a very loose term.
Yeah.
So do you know, like in American culture, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, I don't think so, but how you're familiar with Louisiana and stuff in the Cajun,
yes.
Yes. Rabble,
what?
Yeah, Cajuns. The way you remember on
you're talking about like the Cajun accent. Like,
the Cajun accent,
like Southern accent. Yeah.
But it's that like. So where the reason that area got populated is that the English, when they took over Canada, French Canada, right? They sent all the men down to Southern America to separate them so that they couldn't breed, and that the women were up top and the men were down, and took families and ripped them apart. And
classic England.
And and they did that, and so all these men who spoke French had to settle in America. and that's where you get that. The Cajun accent is actually very French oriented.
Yep.
And like the reason they eat the crawfish and they eat like the foods from down there and the spices are because these guys were just put down here with no knowledge on how to survive in this area, and they just this is what they made. This is what they created.
Honestly, have you ever been to Louisiana?
No, and I'd love to.
I have been. I've actually been there for like Mardi Gras.
I'd love to go.
I went down in 2002, like pre-Katrina, and like Mardi Gras is something that like I don't know if are you familiar with Mardi Gras?
Yeah, we have Mardi Gras in Australia.
Okay.
Really?
I think it's the biggest one in the world.
Really?
Well, don't quote me on that. There might be one in Brazil might be bigger, but the Sydney gay and lesbian Mardi Gras. You're talking about the gay and lesbian Mardi Gras?
No, Mardi Gras is
Well, that's a whole
No. That's exactly my point. Like,
so I think Mardi Gras means party big or something like that, you know?
Yeah,
but our Mardi Gras is based off of something.
It's based out of New Orleans, and it's the day that like the Holy Priestess comes down, like, and I could be wrong about this, but it's the day the Holy Priestess comes down and like blesses like the town of New Orleans, because they're very voodoo oriented.
They are, yes.
So they have the high voodoo
voodoo?
Yeah, they have this high voodoo priestess that like comes and walks down the street, and the next day they just celebrate like crazy. And when we were down there, it starts off at like early in the morning with this like 3-hour long parade where like people are just going down, and like there's all kinds of shit going on, and it's all voodoo like oriented in some sort of way, but like that sort of like cocoa culture, like
almost,
you know what I mean? It's
weird. Got a Mexican influence
and
from
like
the Dias Los Muertos.
Yeah, like it has its own like feeling. Interestingly enough, that's the first time I've ever seen a taxi cab with like 22s on it and like rims and like bumping. And at the time, everybody was bumping 50 Cent because that's what was popular in 2002. Like it was weird, but like they have their whole culture based around this like voodoo like occasion, and that's what it is. It's like a very voodoo-esque like thing, and it's supposed to be like. Now we as Americans take this and we go, oh well, we have to make this like a pleasant thing. So instead of talking about like instead of talking about like what it's actually about, we just kind of like try to modernize it and be like, oh yeah, no, it's the day that like we just celebrate everything and the dead. And
I assume there's a hot dog eating contest on that day, and if there's not, well, come on, America.
No, the hot dog eating contest is
totally. What day? That's another holiday.
It is. It's like Memorial Day or 4th of July or something. It's the big Nathan's hot dog day.
Sorry, I digress.
No.
Yeah.
That's what this show is all about.
We learn stuff here.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's right, but we learn stuff.
Well, yes.
It's your job to fact check us.
Our Mardi Gras is quite significantly different to that.
Okay, so what?
Hey Siri.
Oh boy.
What does Mardi Gras mean?
Mardi Gras means a carnival held in some countries on Shrove Tuesday, most famously in New Orleans.
Oh.
Shrove Tuesday. Okay.
Oh, of course, Shrove Tuesday. Yeah.
Hey Siri, what the hell is Shrove Tuesday?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Sorry about that. You can also type.
You're gonna be like,
shut up, Siri.
Siri doesn't care.
Useless.
But you get the point. So what is your Mardi Gras then? Well, if that's what that says, just on a brief, quick Google search, what is your Mardi Gras?
Well, our Mardi Gras, I believe it was 78 or 77 when it started. It's a gay lesbian pride parade, and it started off very small, but now you might have 500,000 people lining the streets to watch.
Wow.
It's sort of a mainstream cultural event now. There's no sort of homophobia associated with it. Like, I would love to go and watch it myself. Just hundreds of different floats of people dressed outlandishly and just dancing and having a great time.
Here's a question I have for you. Would you consider Australia to be LGBTQ plus friendly, or are they more? Are they?
Yes.
And I'm sorry for being ignorant, but the reason is like. I asked that because you always think of Australian men as just tough,
rugged,
no bullshit, rugged. I don't want to say ignorant, but like not like just not politically concerned. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they don't care. They just say words, and it's not like, hey, don't be a pussy about it.
Well, I think
But-
I was going to say, with the Australian way of teasing each other, we're ruthless, and we're ruthless with gay people, with any demographic.
It
at
doesn't
all.
matter what you
Everyone
are.
gets teased the same,
Okay.
but
Okay.
it's not commonly done nastily, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
In a nasty manner. We'll give anyone shit, but at the end of the day, we really don't care what you do with your life.
Yeah.
Right, it's like a roasting.
It's a roasting, yeah. We
Wow,
roast
yeah.
each other, and we do it hard, like, and everyone gets it. You get
Yeah.
it from your friends, your family. Everyone gets roasted, but at the
Right.
end of the day, we're pretty happy to let people just live their lives.
Don't let your people get soft like Americans, because we do that too. But everybody's just like, oh,
Yeah,
they're
now it's called bullying.
What the
like,
fuck?
Yeah, we've got a lot of
Well, there's
people
bullying
crying and being
too, but-
offended, but
Yeah.
you know, it hasn't
that
quite
kind of
taken
shit.
over Australia completely yet. Like the Washington Redskins changing their logo, it probably wouldn't happen in Australia for the next 30 years. You know, we'd be like, no.
Well, so they fought it. They fought it for, I'd say, a good decade. I
Yeah,
think.
at
That,
least,
like,
at least.
that they wanted it changed and they wouldn't do it, and it just happened. I didn't even know it until this
Yeah.
year. I was like,
Yeah.
who the fuck is? Oh,
Who's the
Washington football team?
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a great one.
But I agree. You know, yeah, we
That's
don't
something.
need to go with the name Redskins. You can change that shit.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But it's very much an Australian culture too, also, and this is one of the negative sides of it, where if minorities, immigrants, Aboriginals, Asians, gay people, whatever, if they tell us they're offended, and by us I mean white people,
Mhm.
if they tell us they're offended by our behaviour, we just kind of laugh and go, oh, we're just kidding, and we think that makes it okay. But
Yeah,
in reality,
yeah.
it doesn't make it
Yeah.
okay. But that's how we justify our bad behaviour.
Yes. Okay.
Hold on, because I feel like you don't even need to say that. Like, I feel like the fact that you're acknowledging that, like, you know, you've offended somebody, but like, even still, it's like it's so hard to tell. Like, but the fact that you acknowledge it, like, should be enough that, like, people understand, like, yo, you didn't punch them, you didn't kick them, you didn't, like, physically harm them. These are just words, like.
Yeah.
And while words can hurt, like, I get it, like, it was done with the intent of, because you're a friend, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you're not
for
just
sure.
gonna roast like some random dude like on the street. Like, you might, but like that's only because
Yeah.
it's like part of the culture. You know what I mean?
I might.
Yeah, we do. We will hang shit, as we say. Tease someone, we'll hang shit.
Hang shit.
We'll hang
Oh, that's
shit
a new
on.
one.
We'll hang shit on someone at the end of the bar we don't know. But we kind of know when to stop.
But do you do it vocally at them, or you do it like together, get with each other?
Oh,
Like
no,
it-
we'll say it to them.
Will you? Okay,
Yeah, we
okay.
are good.
Like, let me ask you a question. Like, if Mark were to walk into a bar in your hometown wearing this shirt and just being like, "Oh, the Steeler game today was crazy. You guys, what?" You know what I mean?
Oh, they'd
Like,
make fun of me like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
What would you think of this person, and what would be the majority response?
Well, most people just think, look at this fucking yank.
Yeah,
Fucking look at this guy.
but see,
But that's the thing. We love to make foreign guests feel at home. So
Right.
we do this shit for a few minutes, and then we'd be like, all right, enough of that bullshit. Where you from? Tell me your story.
yeah.
In an hour, everyone at the bar's your friend. So.
But see, I'd come in there knowing that I sound like a yank piece of shit, and just like, you know, I'd love it. Be like, oh yeah, I'm just being an asshole, you know. So where you guys from? Yeah. But I'm I'll just.
Hold on. I'm curious. What was your perspective of America, like, and Americans, quote unquote, before you came over here? Like, just out of curiosity,
Guns.
like, and I'm
not just
honestly,
guns,
I mean, like,
I don't know. I just
because like our vision of an Australian person is like you said, like
Crocodile Dundee.
Crocodile Dundee,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Steve
Like
Irwin.
Steve Irwin, like, and we're like, yes, this is like Australia, like, and
Americans, listen to me.
Vegemite, like, but we only know hold on, we only know of Vegemite because of the song, and like, if it wasn't for, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know that we would could. Have
What's
you
the name of that fucking song?
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Land Down Under. Yeah.
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 Land Down Under.
Which, by the way, they never even went to Australia before they recorded that song, which makes me hella mad. But whatever, it is what it is. Like, you wrote a song about Australia before you ever even visited there. Like, fuck you, dude. Like, and then it went number one. And then you were like, all right, we'll play in Australia. Like, I think the band was like Asia or something like that. I don't know.
Men at Work.
Men at Work. That's right. Yeah,
Men
yeah,
at
yeah, yeah.
Work.
I do believe they are Australian.
Of course, the
Are they?
Aussie knows
I
it.
do believe so.
No, that's fantastic.
Men at Work is an Australian band.
But I'm
Yeah.
saying, so like, what I'm saying is like, okay, so what is Vegemite?
Vegemite.
Let's start with that.
All right, the origins of Vegemite. It was during the Great Depression.
Vegemite.
Vegemite.
Vegemite, mate.
mate.
Vegemite, mate.
Am I saying it right? Like,
No, you can't. We're not Australia. We can't
Yeah,
say it right.
obviously,
We
I'm
say
not.
I think Americans say veggie, but it's veggie.
Yeah, we
Veggie.
say Vegemite.
Yeah, it's
Veggie.
Vegemite.
Vegemite.
So Vegemite started during the Great Depression when, people were a little bit hungry, and it's actually the yeast that was left over from the breweries. They're like, there's got to be a way we can make a food out of this. And they came up with this yeast extract. It's a black paste.
Yes.
It's very salty, it's bitter, and it's fucking wonderful. I devour it. But,
So we bought him from Amazon. We mail ordered him a jar of Vegemite. I didn't even know. I thought it was like a burger, like a burger patty. I always thought it was a burger patty, and it was just a vegetable meat. You know,
it's a paste. You put
It's
it
a
on.
paste,
You
yeah.
fucking
put it on
spread.
toast with butter.
Yeah.
It's a spread.
Yeah, it's. I mean, and I mean when I say every
Leave it to
Australian eats
Australians.
it, I mean fucking everybody eats it.
Leave it to Australians to be like, huh? That's a bunch of grimy looking shit at the bottom of that brew barrel.
Yeah.
Let's spread it on something.
Yeah, let's put it on.
You know,
toast.
we can eat it.
Fucking
Now,
possibly
I bet we'll get fucked up too.
Now wait a second. I'm just gonna interject here. I work in the service industry, and it's all about like capitalizing on the dollar. If you can work out the scientific value for how long
I
you can
believe you.
extrapolate.
Totally.
Listen to me. If you can work out the scientific factors of how long it will take for the shelf life stability of a product, right, and then take that product and change the ingredients in it to still
Huzzah!
taste the same, but actually have a longer shelf life of months. It's incredible how much people are willing to pay for that knowledge and that advice. And like, it makes me like just talking about Vegemite, right? Like I kind of knew what it was before like we had this conversation, but like it's so interesting to me that like that's only one food. Like, is there another food that you can say that like is like very Australian oriented and like that's like over here, like that's made it to the States?
It's made wrong.
Or
Yeah, something that we do
I
wrong.
can't think of anything that's made it over, but I know Americans would love meat pies.
Oh, I love them. Yeah,
Yes.
he's made it. You've made me a meat pie, and they are fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's basically meat, onions, and gravy
Oh my God.
in pastry. You put a bit of dead
Yes.
horse on it, which is Australian slang for tomato sauce, which is what we call ketchup.
No shit.
So you have a
That's
pie with a bit of
fucking
dead,
awesome.
with a
What's wrong
bit
with
of
you
dead horse
guys?
on there.
A bit of dead horse.
Oh
A bit
my
of dead
God.
horse, and it is it's
What's
delightful.
that kind of thing?
But that is our main
Mine died.
snack food. That I mean, you guys will have
Okay.
a burger, we'll have a pie. Like you go into a gas station, there's always a pie warmer with pies in there.
That's
Every
so
bakery has
crazy.
pies and sausage
Yeah.
rolls as well. I think you call them a pig in a blanket.
Yes,
Pig in
yes,
a
that's
blanket.
yeah, okay, yes, yes.
Yeah, they're
Like
That's like
cabbage.
that's like
cabbage
the
rolled
tiny
around with-
Vienna sausages, like
No.
rolled
So
in.
that's a pig in a blanket.
oh,
It's a
okay.
Polish food, actually.
Okay.
Right,
Well,
right.
our
What did you
sausage
think of?
rolls is
They're just like little sausages in.
no, our sausage rolls are basically pulped up beef with breadcrumbs, and you wrap it in pastry, bit of onion, and then you bake it. It
It's
just
like
comes in. It's a meat log with pastry.
Little
Yeah.
croissant weenies, but
No,
bigger.
It's
no,
not an
like.
actual
no,
sausage roll.
no.
It's like a pasty made. It's
Yeah.
Okay.
like a meatloaf kind
Yeah.
of meat.
He's saying like actually like beef, like, and then you roll it up with like onions and like a pastry.
Well,
like
it's
a,
all
like a-
cooked together.
Yeah.
So you slap the paste in there, you wrap it in pastry, and then you bang it in the oven and cook it, and it's delicious.
Dude, that is the coolest thing I've heard like
Sounds
all
good.
day. That's
We
fucking
developed that
awesome.
shit. But it's not
No.
just us, like the English, the New Zealanders. Thank you, so I spent time in New Zealand. Their pies are even better.
Okay.
Get the
They're
fuck right
amazing.
out of here.
No. We need to talk about the real shit now.
We
How
are
many,
talking about the
how
real
many
shit.
crocodiles do you have to kill to be considered a man? And at what age do you have to kill them by in Australia?
You generally
3,
wanna-
4?
You generally want to have killed one by about 8.
Okay, 1 by 8,
With your bare hands, of course.
of course. Because you guys don't have any guns or anything else.
Well, that's
Nobody out there carries a knife,
you
right?
don't want to cheat, you know.
That's not a lie.
Guns and cheating.
Yeah.
No, to be fair, I do get asked about crocodiles.
I believe that.
The crocodiles are only on the northern coast of
Okay.
Australia, and no one lives up there because it's so fucking hot. So
Okay.
I've never seen a
Is that-
crocodile in the wild, and 99% of people haven't.
Really?
They're not an issue.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, Crocodile Dundee was such a lie.
But
You
bro,
told me
that
nobody
was-
carries knives like that?
No one carries knives.
No, I mean, I always have a knife on me.
Oh,
Yeah,
You know,
like
he does.
We're not allowed to carry hidden knives. You can have one on your belt with, like
in a
leather
sheath
pouch.
and everything. Okay.
Yeah, you're allowed to carry one on that, but you're not allowed to conceal
Like
that.
pocket, tuck it. Oh, see, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
I just need to ask you like one quick question. Like, what? Like, we know what the American prison system looks like. What does
Wentworth.
What does the Australian prison system look like?
Well,
Like-
I've never been inside myself. but
No.
having
Not
learned
saying
from,
that. Like
I
saying
know, I
like
know.
from TV or whatever. You know what I mean? You've seen, like,
From friends who have been in, there's
Mhm.
pool tables, there's PlayStations, everyone's got
What?
their own.
So have you ever seen the show Wentworth?
I have, yeah.
Like, are the women's like, are they allowed to raise kids in there and stuff? And
Well, that was set in another era. Like our prisons did used to be very stark with chains and bars
okay,
and
Sure.
from my hometown, there's Fremantle Prison, which opened in like the 1850s, and it only closed in 1991. And that place didn't have plumbing, so people were shitting in buckets, man, all the way up until
oh
the 90s.
wow,
Wow.
Yeah, they were shitting in
dude.
buckets, and they'd get a bucket full of water. That was their day's water, so it was very stark. But since
Yeah.
they've built the new ones, they're all high tech and modern. And
I was just curious because, like,
no, that's good.
like here in America, like we actually like monetize that. Like, most of our prisons are like
Yeah.
privately owned.
I know,
Yeah,
which is
right?
astonishing.
Corporate
it is
fucking
unbelievable
prisons.
that that happens.
See, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's
Yeah.
so fucking weird to me that like we're allowed to do that. But like, anyway,
It is.
getting back to circling back here. So, is there anything that you can see like a strong Australian influence in America in the States? Like, what do you think the American view is of Australians, just out of curiosity?
Well, I know the view because
What is the view though?
the most
I'm just curious.
Americans don't, without shitting on you guys, don't
No,
really tend to have any.
Shit do I do?
Don't
Yeah.
tend to have any clue about anything. So every
Oh
bar,
fuck no, we're giving as fuck.
every bar I go into, people go, "You're Australian, right? Yeah, you must like Fosters," and I'm like, "No." "Oh, you Crocodile Dundee." I'm like, "Is that it?" Two things from the 80s.
We
Is that all you got?
stereotype the shit out of people we don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly my point.
Well, I would go
Yeah.
Steve Irwin and
Steve Irwin, yeah.
I really like Aussie Man on YouTube. Aussie Man
yeah,
does some great shit.
Yeah, he's
You
very
know.
popular now.
Yeah. Is he the one with the goat named Gary or whatever? God damn it, Gary! You fuck. Gary goat.
Yeah, but I mean,
You
a
fucking
lot of
wanker.
Americans I speak to, just in passing conversation, they're kind of shocked we don't all live in the bush. Australia's, I
Right.
think, the most urbanized country on earth.
See, and that's what I'm
90%
saying.
of us live in cities, so the actual country,
Isn't it like a
person-
city and then there's no suburb? It's just
it just
It's just
expands
bush.
out. Yeah.
it's just city, bush, and then like way over here, like 1,800
Couple little
kilometers,
cities, yeah.
city, bush. It's like
Yeah.
there's no suburbs, and like we slowly grow.
No, it is suburbs. We have our CBD, Central Business District, which is where
Okay.
all of the skyscrapers are, and then it spreads out with suburbia, and it can
Okay.
spread out for 40 kilometres, which is like 25 miles.
Well, what is you're from Melbourne, not
I'm
Melbourne.
I'm from
Melbourne.
Perth.
You're from Perth, but you. So
Yeah,
how
I
big
live in
are
Melbourne.
how big is Melbourne and Perth,
Uh,
population wise?
Melbourne, I believe, is 4.5 million,
Jesus, that's big.
and
That's
Perth
big.
is around about 2, maybe just under 1.8. something
So
like
now you're living in Pittsburgh, which is I think roughly around 300,000
Why don't you
Yeah.
in
ask
the
Siri?
city limit. And if you go to
Yeah.
Allegheny County, there's a million or so in Allegheny County itself.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, as I tell people, Melbourne is ginormous. It's a massive
it
metropolis.
is a huge city.
It's a huge city, but
Yeah.
every suburb has a hub, which is like the main street,
Mhm.
and there's cafes, bars, restaurants, clubs. There's
Right.
all these wonderful little things.
Yeah.
And there's 100 of those around Melbourne, so you never get tired of exploring, basically.
Just out of curiosity, has Mark ever introduced you, or have you been introduced to the south side of Pittsburgh?
I haven't been to the south side.
You haven't been to the South Side yet?
I've heard wonderful things.
Look, I
We'll
feel
go.
like Mark and I owe this to you to take you out to like, and like we'll pick you up, we'll drop you off, because that's how the
No, we're
night's
gonna Uber
end.
that shit.
Yeah, and
Right.
but like I'm saying, I feel like you would feel like right at home there. I feel like that's like the south side of Pittsburgh, for those who don't know, is like
It's
bars.
the party
That's it.
district,
It
yeah.
is. It is
Yeah.
the party district, and then like it's
Awesome.
the biggest like start of the party district, because you also got like Downtown Pittsburgh, if you want to go high class, if you want
There's
to go
Station Square,
there's
there's Market
Oakland,
Square,
like,
there's Oakland, there's
but
Strip,
like
the
the South Side is like the spot to be, because there's
Yeah.
literally a bar on the bottom floor and then a bar on the next floor that are two separate bars, and like you can have bars next to bars next to bars next to bars next to
yeah,
bars.
it'll be like bar, hippie shop, bar, guitar shop, bar,
The
restaurant
entertainment
and bar,
Yeah.
bar, yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
it's like 20 blocks of this, you
yeah,
know.
we
Yeah.
I feel like Mark and I owe it to you to at
We'll
least
go down.
take
We'll go
you
with
down
Trista
to the
and
South
everything,
Side.
yeah.
And I feel like
Yeah.
it would be a fun evening. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh wait, I said never mind.
okay.
Keep going.
It's the mystery.
I'm
Keep
just saying,
going.
Mystery of Aussie
Nobody
Rick.
heard
Giving
me.
clues
F
out.
off. Nobody heard me.
Nobody heard
This is
anything.
my-
I've heard the South Side though has Asian food,
Oh,
which
honey.
I am just
Chicken on a
dying to get. We have Asian food everywhere in Melbourne.
Oh, dude, let's go
It's
to
wonderful, and I just
let's go to a Japanese steakhouse. Let's go to,
Hibachi.
Yeah, hibachi.
Chinese, Thai, Indian. I don't care. Just get me
Yeah, let's go.
Get me some Asian food.
Bro,
Yeah.
you know what's funny is like I do a lot of like cooking at home because like it's just real easy. But like in all honesty, like that's Chinese food is like a once a week like regular go to. Like you know what I mean? Like
It
as
is,
an
it is.
American, like it's so crazy.
We
to
get
me, like,
Thai food at work like once a week too.
It's so crazy to me. But like and like we classify it as that. Like stop it.
Dude, it's just like a really cool bass string.
Knock it
No,
off.
listen.
I hear it. Trust me, I hear it. Stop it. Like,
Where I'm living out in
Give me that. Where's that
out
thing
in the
at?
eastern suburbs,
Give me that thing.
there's just not many options out there. I've had a bit of a try of some. I think no, it was out near. I think it's out near Squirrel Hill.
Yes,
we say
you're correct.
squirrel, but I
Yes.
get laughed at saying squirrel.
Squirrel
Hill.
Squirrel.
I had a bit of bowl of ramen out there, and it was god awful. And I was like, oh, please, there's got to be something around here.
No, yeah,
But,
we'll go to like a hibachi grill or something,
Yeah,
and
please.
we'll get you. Yeah, there's one right by my house. So.
yeah, there is.
Our restaurant scene's heavily influenced by Asia because it's
Yeah.
right on our doorstep. So we're used to having many options.
It is not right on your fucking doorstep. You guys are like an ocean away from fucking Asia.
No, our nearest
You're
Asian
your own
neighbour is pretty
continent.
close.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's your nearest neighbor, but it's still like thousands of miles north.
No, it's not. It's not. It's a couple of hundred
I was gonna
miles.
say
What,
it's probably
India?
closer than America.
I mean,
No,
India would be the
Indonesia-
closest.
Indonesia's our
Yeah.
closest neighbour.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, yeah, okay, the peninsula
Mark, have you looked at a globe lately?
there. No, what? No, you?
Yes.
No, you haven't.
Yes,
Shut
I
up.
have. It's like
You have kids,
geographically.
I know.
That's what I'm
I have
saying, like,
kids too.
I'm just
But we
saying,
don't
like-
look at globes yet. My kid does not care about a
man,
globe
you're,
right
you're
now.
missing out, bro. You're missing out. Google Maps. Just Google Map.
I do that, but no,
Like,
I Google Map like the weird shit that like, when you see somebody drew a penis, like burn a penis onto a football field and like they have it on the satellite view or something.
Something we can all enjoy.
Yeah, those are the things I look for.
Well, and I think like with the age of the internet, like a lot of other cultures will be eventually boiled down. Like depending on how social media works. Like, let's face it, when we pick up our phones and we look at social media, like the first thing we do is like we look for like, whatever our favorite podcast is, we look for whatever. I hope it's LOUDdispatch. But we look for
Bloody better be.
right? But we look for like, our Facebook feed, our Instagram, our Twitter, our, TikTok, whatever. And like, this is how we get like all of our information. And it kind of makes you wonder, like, are we like,
How much of it's real and right?
like how much of it are we being fed and how much of it is real? Like, let me ask you this, like, obviously you guys have smartphones, you guys have the internet, like what is big virtually wise in Australia that's not big here in America? What would you say is there anything, or is
I
it
don't
all
think
pretty
so.
like
We're at the same speed as you tech-wise, maybe even slightly ahead. But
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
shit you've got there, we've got there.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
No, he's not.
Christ.
No, he's not.
There's a few
They
things.
get it from us.
Of
No,
course,
we get it from
right?
China.
They're a crocodiles. That's so true.
I mean,
So do we.
Yeah, I know.
Which is we're a little bit further away. It takes another day to get to them.
Yeah.
That's all. We're only a day behind.
No, we're virtually on par with technology.
I was gonna say, yeah, like okay.
Your gas stations are a little more advanced, where you just swipe your card at the Bowser. You got a little TV there.
At the what?
Fucking right.
The Bowser, that's the
Wait, Bowser?
the Bowser.
What
Or pump.
what is it about?
The pump. Yeah, the pump.
Oh,
That's my favorite thing
okay.
to do.
Bowser.
He had a birthday a few weeks ago, and we were up and we went to Deep Creek for the weekend, and I was like, "You like bourbon, right?" And he's like, "No, I don't." And I was like, "Oh, that's great. We're gonna love this." And he's like, "No, I don't like it." And I was like, "Oh yeah, you do." Yeah. We just kept going for a while. Yeah,
You'll be right, I'm
yeah,
like,
you'll drink. Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
vomit
no.
out my nose.
He never
and
touched
maybe
it.
do better.
He never touched it.
Yeah,
That was a good time.
it's a long, painful story.
As long as you know your limits and like what you can and can't drink,
Yeah.
because like that's the real like qualifier.
Through much trial and error, I've discovered drinks that I can't
Right.
keep down.
You can only find out by trial and error.
I mean, I
you
can
know?
put 30 beers away, but I couldn't drink a single glass of scotch without.
Oh,
There's just
man.
no way I could do it.
Love
I
me
feel-
some scotch.
Listen, I feel the exact same way about cognac. Like Hennessy, like I can't. I was younger. I drank way too much of it with the other Ed Piscor that has the same name as me, ironically enough. But we got drunk off of Hennessy and Jack, and like I can't even like if I smell it, I start to yak. Like I can't
Yeah.
do
Like
it.
the smell of bourbons and stuff.
Like yeah, like
Any brown liquor for me is
No.
it's a no.
it's just stop.
It's
I
Just-
like my
whole
spice
family.
rums. I like my bourbons and scotches and stuff. I'm happy with those.
Hang
but
on, before we go any further, are you saying you had a friend with the exact same name as your Ed Piscor?
I
It's
have
his
a
cousin.
cousin.
I was going to say, well, what an
Yeah.
extraordinary coincidence.
And
No,
he's a
it's-
great cartoonist.
It's not even like that. He's like a very famous cartoonist. If he ever even watches this, but like
Better.
he,
Fucking
Right.
better.
no, in all honesty, like he's the creator of the Hip Hop Family Trees. Like obviously we're different people, but like growing up, it was real easy. That's where I got the nickname Cheech from. Actually, is because like when we were growing up, we went to the same high school. We had the exact same first, middle, and last name. Like it made everything so complicated. And we were only like 2 years apart and we were cousins, right? So like anytime we went to school, they'd be like, "Oh, you're the Ed Piscor that plays music," or and I'd be like, "Yeah, you know me," or they'd be like, "Oh, you're the drawer," like,
Nope.
and even still to this day, like they'll be like, "Dude, I saw you in the city paper, man! Like, congratulations."
Just accept it. Thanks, brother.
It was
Yeah.
easier.
I would accept his praise. For
See, you think, but like,
yeah.
but like I had like accolades from like playing music and like that he received before he like blew up in the artist industry, which was like very few and far between. And we've had this conversation before, like of just having the same name and like it's such an awkward coincidence.
It would be.
There's so many of us.
Well,
have the
especially that
same
you're
name.
so close. To,
Yeah,
you know.
he still lives like a couple blocks away. Like he's a good. I mean, we're still very close friends, but like
Your family.
yeah, like and we're family, and it's just like we grew up together. But like he is like he's a good dude, man. Like I'll leave it at that. It
He's
just makes
good.
it just. But like the Cheech and Chong reference, like I was the fat short one, and he was the tall skinny one. So everybody
Ah.
called us Cheech and Chong because we hung out together and we had the exact same name. So to tell us apart, they just be like, "Oh yeah."
Is that where Cheech came? I've
Yes,
no fucking clue.
that's actually where Cheech came
no
from.
fucking clue. Okay.
Dead serious. Dead serious.
Sweet. That's good to know.
Nice.
Finally, I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I learned something today.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, anyways, let's go back to
Yeah.
Australia. Australia, mate.
Yeah.
Not bad, not bad.
That was good,
Yeah,
right?
that was pretty good. That's
So,
pretty
all right, I love the Australian accent. The only one I would want to have more, like a good command of more than Australian, is Jamaican.
good.
You know what I mean? To just
Yeah.
be able to be
Yeah.
like truly sound Jamaican would just be awesome.
I feel like you would like really be a good Jamaican.
Oh, I'd have been a great Jamaican.
Yeah.
Jamaica me happy.
God bless Jamaica.
Yeah. Right?
I hear it's a very dangerous place.
It is a horribly
I
dangerous
hear it's like a
place.
war
Yeah.
zone, but
It is.
But-
It
As
is.
long as they talk cool, that's-
Bob Marley was from there, man. Oh, I wanted to say I'm going to bring up last week's sponsor, the Buddy Bandana. Check them out. Use code WOOF, capital WOOF, for 40% off at the buddybandana.com. Each purchase goes to help feed homeless pets at a shelter. So yeah, hit them up, guys. Hit them up. Thank you.
Do that. Do that.
Yep. Okay. Anyways, go ahead. Yeah. So we're back at Australia, mate.
Yeah.
Australia, mate.
All right, so give us some questions that you think your American viewers or listeners would like the answers for.
All right, so I got one. I'm just gonna. Sorry, I just like ran right over you.
You're cool. You're cool.
So one at a time, gentlemen.
My daughter watches Peppa Pig. Okay, like it's wonderful. And they at one point they go to Australia on holiday, and the only thing they talk about is boomerangs. Do you guys like? Is that like your?
That's actually a thing, right?
Is that like a thing still? Like, or are we just like modernizing it here in the States?
No, boomerangs are.
Okay, that's what that's kind of what I thought. But like,
I mean, I'm sure the indigenous people of Australia, when they're traditionally hunting, they still bring the boomerangs out.
Sure. Like
they're not designed to come back though. They're actually a lot more. They're long with sort of a club, and they're used to kill birds. So if a flock of birds goes by, you throw them at the birds.
Wait a second. What the?
Yeah.
Wait. Because the American culture has it as like you throw it and it comes back to you, and it's a game. And like you're telling me this is more of like
it's a hunting.
Yeah, it was a survival and hunting tool.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah, it was a fucking weapon. Oh, I knew that. Yeah.
Fuck you, man. I didn't know that.
They're big and they're heavy.
Sorry, we didn't compare notes before this.
Yeah, like, damn, that's crazy.
Mhm.
But they're not like, it's not like like here we still like we'll bow hunt, like that's like a thing, like bow hunting, you know what I mean? But like for the most part, like most people just do guns, you know what I mean? Like, what about a hunting in like your country? Do you guys hunt?
Yeah, it's still guns. But when I say we've got no guns, we don't. I mean, you have to be a farmer. You have a single bolt action. It's only single shot bolt action rifles are allowed. Handguns, I've never heard of anybody ever having.
Even the police, like if they have a gun, it's like in the boot of their car.
Yeah.
Boot is the trunk.
Yeah, it's in the boot. Well, no, it's not. The cops do have pistols on them.
Oh, do they? Okay.
They do.
I know in England they really don't carry them on their person. So.
But we tend to go the pepper spray or the
taser.
Before shooting's not something that we like to do.
I believe that. I believe that.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, like America has like, and just because this is like in October and like we're getting close to Halloween, I'm just curious as to first off, do you guys celebrate Halloween?
Not really, we don't, but it springs up a little bit. You might get a couple of random kids knocking on your door asking for trick or treat or whatever the hell it's called.
You'd be like, I got these granola bars.
I did it a couple of times as a kid. With mates or with my sister or something.
Here's a beer,
we knock on the door and go trick or treat, and people just go, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Right.
What do you want from me?
Just give us your lollies. Oh, okay. Lollies is candy.
Okay.
Translate that on for you. But no, it's not really a thing. I mean, it's starting to pick up a little bit, but it's not a part of our culture.
Wow. Okay.
Not like what we do here, where like across the street is like piled up with decorations.
Yeah. I love it. I'm really. We've
have you done a haunted house yet?
No, not yet.
Oh,
something else I'm looking forward to.
You have to do one.
I'm going to a Halloween party at a friend's house next weekend, and I'm very excited.
Oh, I think I'm invited to that one too.
Oh, everyone's invited.
Yeah, I think I'm invited to that.
Are we?
I'll let them know.
I'll invite you.
No, I was just wondering. Are you allowed to say like what your costume is?
Yeah, I'm going full skull face.
Oh,
because I'm follically challenged, so I've got.
I love how you said that.
I've got a bald head, so I'm just going to get a clean shave.
Follically.
I'll get my lady to just paint me up a full skull.
I can do a pretty cool skull too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just. Oh, what about this? Why don't you do this? I might just skull my face. That's all I want, just a skull face. And you can sort out my costume as long as I've got the war paint on. I'll be happy.
That's so great. What's even crazier is like my daughter is 2, and this weekend we went to get her costume, and like literally it was just like a number on the wall. Like that was something that like you have to do. Like, you know what I mean? Because Halloween is coming. It's like, versus like the way that you're describing it, like in Australia, it was just like nobody really.
Yeah, it's just not a thing. You know, we don't do Halloween. Thanksgiving obviously is only an American thing.
Right,
so
right.
I've got all this to look forward to.
Thanksgiving's the best.
My lady's very excited. We're gonna have
best.
turkey, pumpkin pie. Apparently, pumpkin pie's a thing.
Pumpkin pie.
Whoa! Pump the brakes. You've never had pumpkin pie?
I have had pumpkin pie, but only here when my mother-in-law made it for me. That's the first time I tasted it.
Great, huh?
Pumpkin is eaten as a savoury dish. Apparently, you guys don't even eat it unless it's
correct.
Exactly.
That is
But
correct.
we roast pumpkin and eat it with a roast chicken, you know.
Sounds horrible.
Yeah,
What?
it's fantastic. Pumpkin soup.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Like, yeah.
Yeah, pumpkin soup. Yeah, but yeah, I enjoyed it. It was not what I expected, but it was nice. It was nice.
Mashed potatoes, turkey, stuffing.
Stuffing. Is there a particular
Gravy.
drink that is traditionally drunk, or just everything?
Wine.
Wine.
You can do
like a
wine.
spiced wine, or just whatever's going.
Pretty much whatever's going.
Do you know what glug is?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what glug is.
Oh, glug. So
I'd like to glug some of that shit.
glug
Yeah,
or
right.
glug is you take this. It's like a malted wine. You tons of different spices, couple bottles of wine, and then we pour in bottles of vodka and brandy for flavoring.
Oh my god.
And then you heat it up forever,
Oh.
and like we keep adding. And so I go to this party every Christmas, and it's called There Will Be Glug, or things like that. You know, the glug. I forget what last year's was. And so my goal is always I get there right before the glug is ready, and me and the guy who makes it, the guy who runs the party, will sit there. We'll taste it. We'll add the liquors, and then we'll each take a drink and we'll taste it. And okay, no, yes, stir it up. Add this. Add some sugar. We'll like for half an hour just keep taking sips and tasting it.
Jesus Christ, you're drunk by the time
it's awesome, dude.
Right?
Yeah, him and I, by the time everybody else is ready to have it, we're like, oh, this is good shit now. You know, like
yeah, you're out of
yeah. There's a couple bottles of brandy and vodka in it and stuff. It's good. Pretty much, yeah.
That makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah.
You guys ever do Harry Buffalo party? Everybody brings a bottle of liquor and you pour it into a big bucket, and then or like a garbage can, and then you cut it with a packet of Kool-Aid, and you just dip your glass in.
You said cut it with a packet of Kool-Aid.
Yep.
That sounds horrible. That sounds like a Jersey Turnpike, bro. Like the Jersey Turnpike is like at the end of the night, like you have that bars mat, like at every bar where they like pour the shots on it and like whatever alcohol. Yeah, you take the bar mat and you just pour it into a glass and you drink it. It's called the Jersey Turnpike, man. Like that's.
You know what a brass monkey is?
I'm assuming it's probably a Jersey Turnpike.
No, from the song Brass Monkey.
It's a malted liquor, isn't it?
No, Brass Monkey is at the end of the party the next morning. All the empties, all the half empties, pour them together and then drink that. That's the Brass Monkey.
Oh god.
Yeah.
The Brass Monkey back home was a heroin addict.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's rhyming slang for junkie. Brass Monkey. So if you're a junkie.
Oh yeah.
It's more of an English term, but it is used in Australia as well.
That's very interesting.
Australia.
Ah.
But you do say there's like a gap. You're like Australia.
Australia.
Well, yeah.
Good night, mate.
I vary it a bit just due to no one knowing what the fuck I'm saying here. I have started to skew my words a bit, Americanize them a little bit, if you will. Because I mean, even my girl can't understand me a lot of the time. Yeah, so I'm adapting.
No, I love it.
I do too, man. Like for real, like.
Oh, what did you say? Diarrhea is called shitting through the eye of a needle.
Yeah, that's a pretty common phrase.
I was trying to figure that one out.
I would have been trying to figure that one out for a minute.
Yeah, I said it the other day. I was like, oh, my lady, I have to talk about was shitting through the eye of a needle, and everyone went silent. I went, what the fuck did you just say? Let me try and explain.
Oh, I have a needle, little. Yeah. You know. Yeah. So I don't know what else.
What do you got?
I don't know. I mean, anybody ever has questions, we're gonna, Aussie Rick is going to be on and off a few times.
Absolutely.
He should be here in the States for a while.
Yeah, get your questions in. I'll be happy to answer them.
Yep, we'll do more segments.
Another little cultural quirk I wanted to tell you about was the day that we won our first Winter Olympics gold medal. I think it was 2002. I'm positive it was.
Your first gold medal?
Yeah, in the Winter Olympics.
Okay.
Understandably, we don't shine in Winter Olympics.
Yeah, okay. Not much snow.
It's like the Jamaican bobsled team.
Yeah,
the Jamaican bobsled team.
Very much. So, there's a fellow called Stephen Bradbury, and he made it through to the final of the ice skating, racing,
speed skating.
Just go around the fucking circle. Anyway, we get to the last corner. I think there were 6 competitors, and he was dead last. And all 5 of them fell over each other, and he's just popped through at the end and just gone.
I suck, but I won.
So he won, and he was, so that's become part of our language now, doing a Bradbury.
Oh my God, that's
If
great.
you only win something because everyone else fucked up at the last moment, it's called doing
Yeah,
a Bradbury.
Bradbury.
And it's become a part of our
Yes.
language now.
Seems like a lot of my life has been a Bradbury.
I love it. I
Yeah.
fucking love it. That's
That's great.
awesome.
And this guy has just made a career out of that one moment. He doesn't do speaking to us and shit. He's
Listen, you
universally
don't have to
loved.
be good. Just be lucky.
Just
Yeah,
so
you
lucky.
know.
But the look on his face, I recommend you Google it.
I will. I
Stephen
will.
Bradbury wins goal. The look on his face when he crosses, and you see the exact moment he realizes, fuck, I just won. Holy fuck. Yeah, it's priceless.
Oh,
One of
man.
those great moments
That
in
is
Australian sporting history.
fantastic.
I love that.
I love that you said Australian sporting history. Just like
I mean, he had no right to win. He was miles behind the and everyone just piles. One person slipped and took everyone else out.
Oh my God.
Oh, fucking good. Yeah. So, yeah. So, do a Bradbury.
just
Pulling
like,
a
out
Bradbury.
of curiosity, do you guys have like you guys do the Formula One over there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't do like the I don't watch
NASCAR's only
NASCAR, but, like,
American.
Yeah.
yeah.
We've got supercars, which are pretty much the same kind of car, except they don't just go around in a circle. They do like Formula One style tracks with different turns and bends.
Right.
Very,
figure
very,
eights and
very
stuff.
big sport in Australia. I don't like it personally, but
Yeah.
I'm not really into motorsport, but it's quite a popular sport.
Okay.
I was just curious.
V8
Like,
supercars.
yeah.
Yeah, but NASCAR's,
It's
not-
something, right?
Not great.
Yeah,
yeah.
no, it's something.
I'm sure,
right?
sure.
Hey,
If you enjoy cars going around in a circle,
Make a left.
make a left.
and then
Make a
another
left.
I believe it goes to 6
Make a
hours or
left.
something like that. 500 laps from memory.
It's
Make a left.
It's a lot.
I think it's just an excuse to drink
Make a
in the
left.
sun, you know.
Yeah, like I'm not shitting
Make a
on
left.
it, but like you
Oh,
know,
I am.
yeah, no. I
Sorry,
feel like
Marcus.
no, I feel like the only reason you watch it is for like the crashes, and that's terrible to say.
Okay,
like,
okay.
yeah.
So I'm not a big fan, but let's look at there is a very huge difficulty to NASCAR. So those guys have to go in and they have to they have catheters because you can't stop to take a piss break. You have to be on top of your reflexes at
Yeah.
200 mile an hour
I'm not
Oh,
disagreeing with you.
for like what 6 hours,
Yeah.
you know,
High
like that
school,
is
no doubt about it.
grueling
Yeah.
fucking shit.
Yeah.
But it is still like you would have thought maybe we could have done like figure 8 tracks,
So are they?
you know, where you're like
athletes?
left, right,
Yeah.
oh shit,
As a
left.
spectator sport, it leaves a bit
Yeah.
to design.
It does.
But I do it.
But the
as you
crashes
say,
are
minor
cool.
skill.
As long as
Oh,
nobody
yeah.
dies, you know.
For sure. Who doesn't love a good pile up in motorsport?
Fucking right.
It's a wonderful
You ever seen the Blues Brothers?
movie.
Yeah.
Yes, of
All
course.
right, Christ.
See, and but that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, you know, we've even like, if you look at like Talladega Nights, like, tell me you've seen Talladega Nights, right?
Not for years, and I was under the influence at the time, and I can't remember fucking anything about it. To be honest.
Wait
I'll
a
make sure I go and watch it.
I'm coming at
Hold
you
on,
like a
hold on.
spider monkey.
Wait a second. I was talking to Mark. I didn't even assume that you had saw it.
No, of course I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Oh, okay.
One of my favorite Will Ferrell movies.
Yeah, your movies do make it over to Australia, and by that I mean all of them.
But we have
Yeah.
seen Crocodile Dundee.
Yes. Well, here's another Australian movie you want to watch.
Yeah.
Chopper. Chopper's a great Aussie movie. It's about an Australian criminal and a bit of a dramatisation of his life story. It's
All right.
well worth a look. Chopper. That's one I was surprised didn't make it over here. I thought it would.
interesting. Is there any other ones that you can?
Oh, there's millions. There's millions. I'm sure you've heard of Wolf Creek. No, the silence there dictates you probably haven't heard of Wolf Creek.
I will.
Wolf Creek's
Okay.
another great movie. It's a movie called Two Hands.
Is it, are
that's
you
Heath
saying
Ledger.
Wolf Creek?
Yes,
Okay.
not Wolf Creek. Wolf.
I thought you
So
said
you
Wolf,
could-
I thought you were saying Wolf Craig, like
No,
a name.
no,
Wolf
no,
Creek.
Wolf
Okay.
Creek.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another one.
Okay.
There's
Translating.
a whole bunch of them.
What do
But yeah, they're the only ones I can think of off the top of my head.
you
But
guys
there's
have any
dozens of
like
them.
you have your own Chuck Norris?
Chuck Norris.
You know who Chuck
we
Norris
don't.
is?
Yeah, of course. We don't have a Chuck.
The only man who could divide by zero?
Oh
God.
What can't Chuck Norris do? Really?
That's a very good question. What
Yeah.
can't Chuck Norris
Yeah,
do?
Chuck Norris, and especially the Chuck Norris jokes.
Chuck Norris can't catch COVID.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Chuck Norris already caught COVID.
What is it? When he does push-ups, he doesn't push himself up.
It'll get
He
out of the
pushes
hospital in
earth
2
away.
weeks. Yeah. When Chuck Norris does a
Pushes the earth
push-up,
away.
he's pushing the earth down.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, there's just so many.
The Chuck
ones.
Norris jokes like came and went like the Yo Mama jokes.
Do you know why? You know where they came from?
No.
There was a SEAL team, I think, who started it. And they kind of made Chuck Norris their like
mascot?
their mascot, I guess. And like they started making up all these things, these jokes about him, and that's kind of where the whole thing started.
I mean, they're not wrong.
No, I
Just
mean, dude.
throw it out there, but like, you know, I don't know that I'd want to be like, yeah, Chuck Norris is the quintessential American. Like, haha, this guy. Like, if you're thinking about America, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Well, you look back on Walker, Texas Ranger.
Yeah,
that show still
baby.
stands up, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's still,
Yeah.
you watch it,
Yeah.
you go, that is one badass motherfucker.
Yeah, man.
You're a fucking Texas Ranger.
You know, he was one of those
Oh,
guys.
my
Like
God.
he was also like the Steven Seagal, where like he never got hit back.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That was the
Yeah.
funniest thing about Steven Seagal is he never got hit.
Right.
You know,
The thing I love about Steven Seagal is his movies are all exactly the same.
But
you
they're
can
the
still,
same
you can
thing.
still watch them.
they're like, all right, here he is on a boat. Here he is in the desert. Here he is in Alaska.
Right.
You know what I
He's
mean?
gonna
Like,
do a few karate chops and bang.
Yeah,
down
you
he
know?
goes.
Right.
Fucking awesome.
huh, huh, you know, huh.
And that's it.
Yeah, and
But shit's over.
he's always so casual with his little stance.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm ready to go.
I feel like that way about Jackie Chan too. Like you can drop Jackie Chan in like anywhere,
Anywhere.
and he just like fucking produces like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's so crazy to me. Like
I love me some Jackie Chan still.
there is like so many different franchises that like it's crazy to think that like it's all like made it around. But like I guess like our Americanized version of like the Jackie Chan or like the, you know, whatever the superhero would be like your Crocodile Dundee. You know what I mean? Like that would be like the quintessential like go to
What's his name?
like
Paul Hogan.
Australian like stereotype. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So Steve Irwin's not well regarded there until after he died,
Yeah,
right?
until after he died, because he was, I'm not saying he was roundly hated. He was just a little bit cringeworthy to us because he was such a caricature. But the
That
truth
makes
is, he wasn't. That's who he was. He was just, I mean, that particular sort of Queensland bush accent. Yeah, hey, yo, Mike. But people do talk like that, but it's rare to find those
Yeah.
bush people that do talk like that. But he wasn't pretending. He was genuine and he was himself. And when he died, we were all, once we saw the outpouring of grief around the rest of the world, we were like, holy fuck, I didn't know. We didn't know he was that well
We
loved.
fucking loved him.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
we weren't
yeah.
aware of
I
that.
mean, he's like a saint to America, you know?
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is crazy. Like that's
Yeah.
like that was our like go to quintessential Australian.
He
like,
was
figure
my
type.
idea of what an Australian was like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a much bigger deal here.
Like when I heard about you coming over, I was like, fucking Steve Irwin, son of a bitch, gonna be here. Like, you know, like stereotyping totally, but
Yeah, Mike, not really.
yeah, I'm gonna stick my finger up this Croc's bum. You know, Crocky.
Ooh,
He's mad now.
Feisty little bugger, ooh.
Crocky.
Fighting to get your machete on the plate. Like, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
Yeah, but the way he used to pick snakes up and get him to strike within.
Yeah.
Oh, calm down, little fella. Calm down.
Calm down, I ain't hurt
You
you.
all right, mate? You all right? I'll put you down. It's like, yeah, put him fucking down. All right?
Yeah, please
Kids
stop playing with
watching.
him.
Stop teaching him.
And like they'd be driving at like 40 mile an hour through the bush. He would spot a snake 100 kilometers off and just like dive out of the moving vehicle, tuck and roll, get up and run, sliding into a bush, and he'd come out holding some like a super deadly bush viper. Because like everything in Australia is deadly, guys.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Snakes, spiders, they're not to be fucked with, that's for sure. But they're not as big a problem as you'd imagine.
Are they a bigger problem here or there?
There.
But because we all live in cities, you know, the people's encounters with snake. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're still there. Snake catchers have full-time jobs in the summer.
Absolutely, right.
But
we have rat catchers, so like, you know what I mean?
do you know the animal that terrifies us the most?
No.
Is the magpie. A magpie is
That bird.
it's a little black and white bird, and in spring, which it is in Australia right now, they get very territorial when they're nesting. So they swoop down from trees and just peck you on the back of the head, and
What?
like kids lose eyes and shit. People lose eyes. People fall off their bikes because
Are
they're
you
being
fucking
attacked.
kidding me?
I'm not kidding.
No, yeah.
I mean, every Australian's been swooped. I've been swooped countless times when I was a kid.
Yeah,
Just you're minding your own business, and then bang, a bird just bites you in the back of the head.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, so that's another thing I recommend you go to YouTube.
I would just
Magpie
swat
attack.
that motherfucker out of the sky.
But
Wham.
they only attack from behind, so you never know they're there. They're
Yeah, but
sneaky bastards.
once he hits you, you figure he'd be stunned for a second. I would just turn around and just like hand like right here.
Yeah.
You know,
You would
wow.
think, but like, you don't know, like once you like because they only attack from behind, right? Like,
Yeah, and they're persistent, you know. They like the posties,
Postman, yeah.
postman.
Yeah.
Our postmen are on little motorbikes. They
oh,
go door to
get the hell
door,
outta here.
and
Okay.
these birds just continually just attack them until they get out of territory, and then they're out. There's another bird's territory, then they get swooped again.
Can't there be like a hat with little like rearview mirrors
Yeah,
to see it coming?
People put cable ties on their helmets, so they stick up. So it's like a fucking barrier. Like
Get the fuck out of here,
yeah,
for real?
oh,
Oh,
absolutely for real. Yeah, it's true story.
That's great.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Great.
they annoy the shit out of us. Spiders don't attack people. You have to sort of
Seek them out.
you have to sort of accidentally handle one if
Right.
you're going to get stung.
Right.
As I'll give you an example of
Oh.
what's happening there. But snakes, yeah. I mean, people but they've got anti-venom for them, so people very, very rarely die of snake bites.
That makes
Sharks,
sense.
on the other hand, proving to be a bit of a menace.
Oh yeah, the great
Ah.
whites.
The great white sharks are just annihilating surfers left, right, and centre.
Wow.
We hadn't had an attack for something like 70 years up until 2000, and then we lost someone, and then lost another one a few years later. But the last few years, it's been one a month.
Wow.
Mainly not just
Wow.
surfers, but spear fishermen as well are getting chomped, and yeah, there's been dozens in
Wow.
recent years. So, but they stopped hunting great whites in the 70s, so their numbers have completely exploded. And you include that with us, sweeping the
Exploding
sea of all
also.
their food.
Right,
Yeah.
No,
right.
they're hungry, so in they come. They're like, well, this looks like a meal. And,
So I can eat that.
yeah, so yeah, it's proving to be a big issue because they're netting some beaches in, putting shark nets around them,
Sure.
and they're also doing drum lines, which is where they put bits of meat on hooks. But that's cruel because then the sharks drown to death, and you don't know if that's the shark that killed the person. So
Right.
it's a problem we don't know how to tackle.
That's a very valid point.
Yeah.
I think like America's viewpoint on like something like that, like, yeah, you have organizations that would stand by it, but ultimately, like, like when somebody dies, but like I can honestly tell you, like, there's been I don't even know. Like, if you Google it, Mark, why don't you Google how many shark attacks we've had in America this year? Like shark attacks and shark deaths. Just out of curiosity, how many we have in the States versus like what you're saying, like, you know what I mean? Like surfers or spear fishermen like once a month. Like, that's crazy. We're like, and it could be because of like, but you would think that it would be like, I don't know, that's crazy to me that numbers like that like have like dramatically increased. But like, but your reasoning makes sense.
Yeah.
30 shark attacks have been reported in the United States, 2 fatal, California and Maine, with 20 occurring in Florida, 5 provoked, 2 in Hawaii, 0 provoked, 0 fatal, 0 no injury, 2 in North Carolina, 0 all that crap, and 2 in California, 1 fatal.
See, that makes me wonder why it's like, is it like a coastal thing? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, we're not gonna have shark attacks in fucking Pittsburgh.
obviously, like clearly, unless you're coming down the Mon.
Those
Yeah.
Mon sharks.
I don't hate on the Mon sharks, man. They're real. They
It's
exist.
the Mon gators
It's
I
like,
worry about.
it's like the tunnel monster, man. Like the tunnel monster is a real thing too, man. Go ahead, shotgun through them like Squirrel Hill tunnels during rush hour. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's
Good
something in
luck.
there.
Yeah, there's something in there.
Something
Everybody
in
like
there.
hits their brakes. They're like, no, we can't go in. It's a tunnel. Like, the
Yeah.
tunnel's gonna fucking eat us. No, it's
Tunnel
not.
monster.
Like, just fucking drive. Like, it's the same
Just
thing.
hold your
It's like-
speed.
it's
Stay in your lane.
Right.
Literally a sign on the way in that says maintain speed. Like everybody brakes at it.
Oh, like, just,
Yeah.
like,
Oh shit, what speed?
with that being said, like, and I'm sure it's in like other countries, or other states, and like other populations, whatever. But like, our roads in Pittsburgh, like our streets, like our map is like fucked up. Like Pittsburgh is like a giant triangle, right?
Yep.
And like trying to drive around Pittsburgh is like we just give destinations for like directions. Be like, oh yeah, go down the street, you'll see McDonald's, make a left, like, then you'll go down the street there, you'll see like this like bodega on the right hand side, like hang a right there, go like 3 blocks down, you'll see this like gas station. You know what I mean? Like that's how we give directions. in
Over the
Pittsburgh.
bridge, over the other bridge.
Right.
Another 4 bridges, and
Right.
you're there.
You've made it. Like, well played. Like,
Yeah.
And see, and like that's what I'm saying. Like versus like, you know, other countries or other places. Like it's we take it for granted because we live here. You know what I mean? That like we have the rivers and we have like, you know, like access to like what we think is like the entire world, but like in reality is like very Pittsburgh oriented, very Yinzer oriented.
Yeah.
I'm not shitting on it for any means because I know that I'm a product of this environment. But what I'm saying is like from an outside perspective, like, you know, like it's interesting to get your viewpoint, and I really appreciate having you on, like
Oh,
you
it's
coming
a
on
pleasure.
and like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, like being
Absolute
here
pleasure
today,
to be here.
Yeah, I
Pittsburgh
mean,
to
like-
me looks a little bit thrown together. Like maybe they
Yeah.
didn't hire a town planner. They're just like, let's just put it right there.
yeah,
That's really what it was. Well, we
Yeah,
remember
they threw it all together. and
the
thought,
whole
let's hope
city
for the best.
started because it was a fort.
Oh,
Yeah.
right,
The
right.
point
Yeah.
was a fort, and it was a very big transition point for a bunch of wars, French and Indian and Revolutionary, and you know, yeah, Pittsburgh. The whole point of Pittsburgh is we started as Fort Pitt or Fort Duquesne.
Yeah.
Both of them were in different areas of the point, but
Yeah.
so that's where we came from.
Oh, look, it's, I gotta say, it's a pretty gangster old city, Pittsburgh. It's a tough,
Yeah.
tough city. It's a cool city, and your sports teams are strong. Well, I've been told they're suffered some lean years recently, but
Baseball sucks.
But the Steelers 5-0, which
Yeah.
is a great start to the season. I've got to say, American football's pretty roundly loathed in Australia because our sports are continuous, whereas yours is, you know, let's have a play and then let's have a bit of time off. But I've exaggerated it in my mind because I watched the Steelers game the other day. I think it was, fuck, do I know who they were playing? A couple of weeks ago.
I remember that.
Yeah, I went down and watched the game, and I was pleasantly surprised that it flowed a little bit quicker than I thought it did.
Right.
And it held my attention, and because I quite like playing chess myself. And when I watch American football, it just looks like a chess game to me.
It is.
Yeah. So I really love the concept of the game, and I think I will grow to love the sport.
Yeah.
I really do think I will.
And you realize why we wear pads sometimes when you see the type of hits that happen, the blind jump hits, and you know, there's a lot of.
It's savage. It's a savage sport.
Yeah, it's fun though. I like it. I think we should give them weapons. But anyways,
God.
that's my final thought. We're gonna have to shut this thing down, or else I'm never gonna be able to fucking produce it. Be like days worth.
Yeah.
All right.
So Aussie Rick, final thoughts.
Aussie Rick.
What are your takes on Pittsburgh and being here in the States? What are are you happy with it generally? Like, does it live up to your expectations?
Well,
yeah.
Put it this way, I'm looking forward to seeing it when it's finished.
I'm
kidding.
No,
we'll never be finished with the road.
No,
Never.
I'm struggling with the weather. Being from a hot weather country, I'm freezing already, and it's only mid-October.
Oh man, it's gonna be so
I've
much
never
worse.
had one of these icy cold winters, so I'm shitting my pants.
You should.
I'm shitting
yeah,
myself.
you should be. Yeah.
Would you walk outside and your penis actually tries to go touch your butthole?
Yeah.
That's cold.
Do you have any cats?
No, not at the moment.
You should get kitty litter.
Kitty litter.
It's huge
For
like,
getting traction.
Yeah, traction in the snow, man.
You're joking.
I'm
Oh, no,
not.
fuck that.
No, dude. Like a lot of Pittsburghers carry that shit in your back, like in your trunk, dude. Like I'm not kidding. Because we don't fucking plow shit. Like we'll just leave it. We'll be like, fuck it. Yeah, like
plowing. So the problem with plowing is a bigger thing in this city than it is in a lot.
Yeah.
Just because of the mountains and the hills.
Yep. Yep.
So they do plow it and they salt it, but there's still a lot of frozen spots that they don't plow everything, you know, and so it freezes over in areas. You'll be like taking a turn on dry road, and all of a sudden your back end's fucking, you know. So we'll go over some driving tips after.
Yeah, well, I drove a truck back home for work, and I said to my lady, you know what? You know, when I get my working rights, maybe I'll drive a truck around here. She's like, no.
Yeah.
You won't be driving on frozen roads. I was like, yeah, that's probably wise.
Yeah.
Good idea, dear.
A whole another monster in the city.
Yeah. Watch one episode of Ice Road Truckers, and you'll be like, oh yeah, I'm doing that shit.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't know where to start. But to all the viewers out there, get your questions together. Marky Mark will let me know when he's got a nice healthy list of them. Marky Mac.
I love it.
Marky Mac, mate.
Anything you want to know about Australia, just shoot your.
Australia.
I'll be your guide.
Yes.
Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. All right, guys.
Loud Dispatch signing off.
Take care, everybody.